From Las Vegas, it's the Streamlight Survivor Relay. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Ramsey, alongside my partner, Dr. Paul Davis. Well, we're back in Las Vegas, but for the first time, Paul, we're at night. That means cool temperatures, dry air. Will that affect the competition?
Well, you know, Bob, really, this is optimal conditions, but it's not beyond some of these guys to turn it into some kind of a head game.
Every year in the relays, we have fantastic teams coming back, defending their titles. I'm talking about Windsor and some of the others.
Yes.
But the rapid ascent of the Armed Forces teams has been amazing.
Absolutely. In little more than 2 years, these guys have come from virtual obscurity to the top of the ziggurat.
Can anybody beat Windsor?
Well, you know, this is Las Vegas. You get odds on anything here.
All right, we will find out. Now, let's go to the finish line. That's where our Rex Nimrod is standing by. Rex, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Bob. This year I had the honor of standing at what the competitors call their favorite part of the course, the finish line. I can't wait to see what unfolds tonight. Back to you guys.
The Streamlight Relay begins with a stair climb, a 45-pound hose carried to the top of a 5-story tower, and that's when you have your first handoff. Next, the hose hoist, a 45-pound donut roll pulled to the top of the tower. Then the Streamlight is carried down the tower, passed to a team member when you get to the Kaiser Slammer, a 160-pound beam moved 5 feet with a 9-pound shot hammer. That's followed by a 140-foot run down the course, and then you get to the hose drag, a fully charged attack line. You drag it 75 feet through the saloon doors, knock down a water stream, and onto the dummy drag, 165 pounds, 100 feet. Cross with all your equipment and the Streamlight. Winners advance, losers go home. That's why it's called the Streamlight Survivor Relay. All right, time to look at our brackets. The 2004 Streamlight Relay. These are the quarterfinals. This is just the cream of the crop.
Well, you started off with 81 teams earlier this week, Bob, and they were culled from hundreds of teams that played all over the country. They had to meet the qual time of being under 2 minutes in order to get here. So after 4 days of playing, this is where we are.
Top seed Windsor against Bluff City. You know, if your number 8 seed is Bluff City, you've got a heck of a relay competition.
Every one of these is going to be a very, very tightly contested race.
Talk about Sam Squad and Fairfax. That looks to be a good matchup.
Well, Fairfax was out of the game for just a short while, back and looking better than ever. Of course, Sam Squad earlier this year set a new world record, so these guys are tough.
Our top seed is Windsor. Going for a three-peat, Paul, what makes them so good?
Well, a couple of reasons, Bob. One, these guys are in their own right world-class athletes. Secondly, they don't make mistakes. We saw these guys earlier in Evansville, and they were awesome, a well-oiled machine.
Earlier, we referenced running in the desert at night and had a chance to ask Jack Bailey of Windsor if the desert conditions will be a problem.
I don't think it's a disadvantage for us. I mean, we train up in Canada, so it's pretty cool up there right now. So we've been training with a 13 to 17 hit Kaiser. So if anything's going to slow the competitors down today, it's going to be the actual Kaiser sled. So I would say no. We all know what we got to do, and we're going to run our races regardless of the weather. So we're ready.
Let's get into the Streamlight Relay. It's Windsor on the red course, Bluff City on the left. Bluff City, the 8th seed. They know they have a tall order, Paul, and Will Lively for Bluff City is up the tower for them on the blue course.
Well, you know, I think 2 years ago we thought Bluff City was certainly in the zone. They've got the talent, and I think they certainly thought they could knock off everybody. They're starting already to fall behind right now.
Will Lively, a little tangled right there for Bluff City, and took him a moment to get it in the box. And you see, as they get down the tower, Eric Neal for them and the handoff. What's interesting is, at all the different elements of the Streamlight Relay, you can hand off at different segments. You don't have to do it just like the opposition.
No, that's true. You have the flexibility to decide how you're going to leapfrog your guys, you know, where you're going to make. There are passing zones, but they're pretty generous.
Windsor showing why they are as good as it gets and going for a three-peat, racing through the course at a blistering pace. You see how far ahead they are. Colin Burris trying to catch up, but it's going to be a blowaway. 1 versus 8 in the bracket. Windsor is going to win, and they do win big time, 110.
You know, they laid it all out. There was no slacking off.
And you see Maurice Montgomery crosses the finish line for Bluff City. Nice job. And when we come back, we'll have more quarterfinal action of the team competition. Don't go away. From Las Vegas, the Streamlight Survivor Relay is brought to you by Streamlight Flashlights, the first choice of professionals. We're back into our second quarterfinal race on the blue course. Team Fairfax on the red, Sam's squad. You see Nathaniel Bruce and Brian Edmonston from Fairfax on the blue. Edmonston's one of those rare guys that'll run 3 legs of this event, and that's a lot. That's, while technically not the anchor position, when you're relying on a guy for 3 spots, Paul, that's big.
Yes, it is. He makes obviously a big contribution to the team. Nice handoff.
Aker gets it to Bill Bockelman and Brian Edmonston. Again, it's Edmonston through the hydrants on the blue course, and there you see him. Boy, this is a good race.
Fairfax had a lead, but they're giving it up now. Sam's squad turning on the steam here.
That was a lot to ask Edmonston. Now the anchormen on the blue course. Rodney Vaughn on Sam's squad on the red. Anthony McMurtry, and McMurtry has the lead.
AK the tank. Look at him go through the line. Bam, 113.
113.92 Sam's squad. Tremendous. Our next quarterfinal matchup, Travis Air Force Base on the blue course, and on the right, the Fairfax Jakes on the red. Jelani Brooks for Travis and Aaron Corwin for Fairfax up the tower.
Yeah, you'll see these guys make the top in 11, 12 seconds now, Bob. And then watch this. We've got Mike Melton over here. Watch him.
Hands off to Melton on the blue. But Brendan Petersburg's doing a nice job as well. A little bit of a tangle on the rope for Petersburg. And Melton's going to stay. He's going to go back-to-back as he goes down the tower. They go back to Corwin for Fairfax on the red.
Now look at that.
Jelani Brooks on the Kaiser. Very smooth. He was ready to go when Melton handed off to him. Now he'll go to Frank Abreu. He'll go through the hydrants. Frank Abreu, fast on his feet. That's Craig Fernelson for Fairfax.
Of course, you know, Bob, we're using the Streamlight Survivor as the actual baton.
Adam Groom for Travis. Burst through the doors. Wow, that was quick. And finally, the dummy drag. Harry Myers for Travis. And he is practically running backwards. That is an anchor man. Brendan Petersburg handling it for Fairfax. But look at Harry Myers for Travis. 117.10. What a finish. We've seen the quarterfinals. Now let's go to the over 40 Streamlight Relay Championship. See Altus, Oklahoma on the red. That's Jimmy Rogers and Peter Reed for Brampton. Peter Reed, one of those guys running 3 legs, and he's running them all in a row for Brampton on the blue course, up the tower, the hose hoist, and then down the tower, all for Peter Reed.
And this is our first year for this competition, Bob, the first time we've had an over 40 class. So everyone on this team is over 40 years old.
Reed against Rogers.
Oh, look at that. Uh-oh.
Peter fumbled just a little bit. Rogers hands it off as he comes down the tower.
And look how much speed you can put between yourself and the next guy when you have just a little mistake like that.
It was Rogers, Gibson. Now Rogers hands off to Kenny Ward for Altus, Oklahoma. They call themselves Team Dr. Pepper. On the Kaiser now, Reed finally got it to Andrew McDonald.
1 extra hit there.
Yep.
That'll cost you, by the way. That's 2 seconds an inch, a penalty for not finishing the Kaiser.
See if those seconds end up hurting.
You notice there's a little water over there on that side, Bob, and that's, of course, concerned for footing issues there.
And the final handoff. Kenny Ward will finish up. They've tightened it up. Rob Woolfield for Brampton in the blue. Boy, that's a lot of space to make up unless there's an accident. Kenny Ward on the dummy drag for Altus, Oklahoma. Team Dr. Pepper. 126.94. Nicely done by Altus, Oklahoma.
Altus, Oklahoma, Team Dr. Pepper, first ever over 40 world champs. How's it feel, guys?
Awesome. We've worked for 5 years for this, and we just thank God for giving us this opportunity, and we thank our sponsors, James and Carla Thompson, Vernon Dr. Pepper, and thank the citizens of Altus has been behind us.
All right, great job, guys.
Tommy! You Bart, I'm so proud of you.
We're Team Virox from Vaughan, Ontario, Canada. Coming up next, the women's relay final on ESPN.
The Streamlight Survivor Relay is brought to you by Original SWAT, tactical footwear in sports shoe comfort. We're back in Las Vegas, and it's time for the men's semifinals. We've made it to the Final Four, Paul Davis. Take a look. Windsor versus Miami, Travis versus Sam squad. The seedings have held true.
Yes, they have, Bob. It's just as we planned. 1, 2, 3, 4, all in the round here.
Well, let's get to the first semifinal. Windsor, the defending champ, the two-time defending champ in the blue, against Miami in the red, and Lopez for Miami. They have got a tough row to hoe in this one.
Oh, they do indeed. You can see the speed here is starting to distance themselves here.
Very close. They hand it off to Rick Stevens for Miami, trying to keep up, and then you just start to see the excellence of Windsor take over. Down the tower. Windsor has a mission in mind. They want the Streamlight Relay three-peat. Look at how smooth.
That's kind of a novel way, if you will, Bob, putting that Streamlight Survivor out there. It's in the direction which you're going to be going, and that way you don't have to waste any time looking for it.
Nicely done. Windsor continues to roll. Look at that, a dead sprint.
Rob looking good there. Looking really smooth here on the handoff.
And then the anchor leg.
Here goes Jack. Jack Bailey taking it home.
Jack Bailey, boy, what a sprint. Look at that clock. Look at the time. Well done. 1:12.22, and Windsor shows that they are on a mission. Our next semifinal, Sam squad on the blue course, Travis on the right, Travis Air Force Base, who will be able to get into the finals to challenge Windsor. It's Eric Aker for Sam squad, Frank Abreu up the tower on the right side. Aker blasts up there, and he is going to go ahead and go on the hoist pull, but it's going to be Mike Melton, the handoff on the right side for Travis Air Force Base on the red course, trying to catch up. Aker did a nice job.
Yeah, and he's got just about a half a stair head start.
That's Bill Bockelman coming down on the blue squad for Sam with Melton. And then he'll hand off on the Kaiser on the blue course. It'll be Nathaniel Bruce against Jelani Brooks for Travis. Brooks will hang on and go through the hydrants. They go back to Bockelman for Sam squad on the blue course. Look at Jelani Brooks sprinting through the hydrant.
Oh!
And there's a slip. Bockelman slipped just a bit. Will that be the difference?
Boy, I don't know. This is tight. Right through the doors. Here we go.
Now the anchor leg. Harry Myers on the red for Travis.
Man, did you see that scoop and go, Bob? These guys are blazing.
It's Myers.
Oh, look at the lean.
Look at him roll.
Oh, man.
Virtually sprinting
Oh,
backwards.
my.
Travis Air Force Base, 1:10.75. A tremendous run by Travis. Let's take a look at the women's Final Four bracket. You'll see the fourth seed, Deerfield Beach, with an interesting strategy. They only use 3 players. A championship has been won with 3, but we asked Deerfield Beach how tough it'll be.
One of the biggest advantages of the last handoff on the relay, if you have 5 people, there's 5 different handoff on the flashlight. With us, we're handing off last time because there's only 3 people. So like when she comes down, going up the stair, coming down the stairs, the Kaiser and the cones, there's no handoff right there. It's just her. So she knows exactly where she put the light, and she picks it up and she goes with it. So I think that's the advantage of having, one of the advantages of having just 3 people.
Well, Deerfield is ready. They're on the blue course, and they'll take on Team Virox. They're out of Vaughan, Ontario. For Deerfield, Samantha Washington. She goes up the tower against Jacqueline Rasenberg for Vaughan.
Yeah, she got an early lead right now, Bob. See if she can hang on to that.
Working to get up the tower. They'll both hand off at the top. For Deerfield on the blue, Samantha Washington will hand off to Sue Sweetman, and that's Esther Lacatos for Vaughan. Real power.
Yes, she is. And she's showing it right now. Look at this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Esther will hand off at the top to Ingrid Van Gelder. Let somebody else come down. And that allows Esther to get set for the last time she'll run, which will be the anchor leg with the dummy. So strategy clearly involved on when you hand off and when you're required to go again. Off the tower, it's Ingrid Van Gelder. She hands off to Rasenberg, who had gone up the tower. Down the tower, Jennifer Owens. Now she's going to run 3 legs in a row, Jennifer Owens for Deerfield. As you get a look at Rasenberg, she'll hand back to Ingrid Van Gelder. Very quick against Owens on her 3rd legs in a row. Very nicely done. Van Gelder now for Vaughn.
And she's opening up the distance here, Bob, as you can see through the door.
Not too bad. Right to the dummy, and then Esther Lakatos again. And you'll get to see the power, I'm sure.
You know, as we said, all you got to do is win. The time is not important. Loser goes home.
And Esther with a huge lead over Sue Sweetman. And Vaughn looks like they're going to be able to take it to the very finish and move on to the finals. Across the finish line, Esther Lakatos and Vaughn, the winner. They'll go to the finals. Who will get the right to face Vaughn in the final? It's Fairfax on the left side, a stumble right away. Krista Mockenhop on the red course from Delray Beach, a stumble, and she's still struggling to get up the tower. Felicia Cooksey for Fairfax, smooth going up to the top.
Well, she's going to take advantage of that stumble, obviously. You've got to open up the gap if you got it here. Here's the next pass.
She hands it off to Annette LaGuardia. Again, taking advantage. Mockenhop finally to the top for Delray Beach, and she'll hand to Irina Sumano. LaGuardia with a nice lead. Sumano trying to make up some ground, but LaGuardia deposits the hose and will take it down the tower.
Oh, this is a big gap.
Nice lead. Yep.
Yeah, it's a big gap here.
Sumano doing what she can. She'll come down the tower. Won't be a handoff for Sumano for Delray Beach. Fairfax in the blue. That's LaGuardia. And then it'll be a handoff on the Kaiser.
You got to press this too, Bob, because you don't know what's going to happen at the other end.
You don't want to overdo it when you have a lead, but you don't want to squander the lead either. Now the handoff to Stacy Lawton on the Kaiser. This is her lone event in the relay. A little bit of a fumble, but hands it off to Maggie Diab Colby. She'll have the hydrants and the hose pull. And a big lead now as Eileen Rose for Delray Beach tries to catch up. Diab Colby with the hose and the lead.
This is going to be a good race I can see coming up, Bob.
And the handoff to Felicia Cooksey. She started the whole event for Fairfax up the tower. Barring something unforeseen, Fairfax will salt this one away, Paul.
And this is going to bring us into a really great race because clearly the Vaughn gals and the Fairfax gals are very evenly matched.
Felicia Cooksey knows she has a lead, wants to finish mistake-free, and she does. Cooksey and Fairfax, 2:11:59. They'll be in the finals against Vaughn. When we come back to Las Vegas, it'll be time for the men's finals in the Streamlight Survivor Relay. Stay with us. The Streamlight Survivor Relay is brought to you by Scott Health and Safety, the world's leader in respiratory protection. That's got to be trouble. Welcome back to Las Vegas. It's time now for the women's Streamlight Relay Final. Team Virox from Vaughan, Ontario on the left against Fairfax on the red, and here we go. Jacqueline Rasenberg for Vaughan against Felicia Cooksey.
Well, you see, Felicia got a good start there, Bob. She jumped out ahead almost a half a stair length just to start with.
Now, they'll both hand off. That's Annette LaGuardia for Fairfax. She's up against Esther Lakatos, though, with real power on the blue side for Virox. And look, she's made up the difference.
Let's see who gets it over the rail first. Yeah, look at that.
Not only did she make up the difference, Esther gives them a lead. She'll hand off to Ingrid Van Gelder for Vaughan as LaGuardia will run back-to-back legs.
Well, it looks like she's about a stair length behind, Bob. Let's see if she can close that up any.
Out of the tower.
Yeah, one stair length.
Ingrid Van Gelder for Vaughan. Hands it off to Rasenberg on the Kaiser. Stacy Lawton for Fairfax on the Kaiser as well.
Yeah, let's see. Fairfax is starting to close up a little bit.
Yep. Rasenberg finished, hands it back to Van Gelder. Ingrid Van Gelder now will run back-to-back legs. The hydrants, running the hydrants. That's Ingrid Van Gelder right there, and then she'll go to the hose pool. Back-to-back legs. Also, Maggie Dab Colby does the same thing for Fairfax.
Yeah, but Fairfax has got 4 girls, and Vaughn's got 3.
Ingrid Van Gelder holding on to the lead, but you see it tightening up. And then on to the final leg. The anchor woman, Esther. And it is tight. It's Felicia Cooksey
Look at
and
this.
Esther Lakatos.
Look at this. She may catch her. She may catch her.
Esther and Felicia.
Look at this, Bob.
Step for step.
Oh.
Felicia Cooksey right there with her for Fairfax.
Oh.
To the wire. Team Virox. And how tight is that?
We knew it was going to be tough because they had 5 people. We only had 3. So they had fresher legs than us. But, hey, the old broads won.
Congratulations, Devon. And now on to the men's championship of the Streamlight Survivor Relay. Windsor in the blue, Travis in the red. Darren Hillman up the tower for Windsor. Frank Abreu for Travis as they battle to get up the tower.
Watch this, Bob. This is always a thrill to watch these guys.
Jack Bailey against Mike Melton. Melton for Travis. Look at him eat it up.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I don't know if there's anybody better at the top than Mike Melton.
Melton will come down the tower on his own. It was a handoff for Windsor to Greg Coates.
But look at
And
this.
look, Coates made up the ground. A little stumble by Melton at the end.
Yep.
Now in the Kaiser in the blue. Jim Marusik for Windsor. Jelani Brooks for Travis. He'll run the Kaiser and the hydrant. Coates back on the hydrant. There he is for Windsor. There you see Jelani Brooks.
Oh, and it's a little slip.
A slip. It is wet over there. There's maybe a half a second.
Well, that was good balance.
Now the hose pull. Rob Fawcett for Windsor.
Through the doors.
Very smooth. Adam Groom for Travis. And to the final leg, Jack Bailey for Windsor.
Oh, look
Harry
at that.
Myers for Travis.
Boy, he just blew ahead there.
Jack Bailey roaring to the finish.
Not slowing
Check
down
the
a second.
clock. Jack Bailey and Windsor. They're the Streamlight Survivor Relay champions with a new championship record.
All right, I'm down here with Team Tregascas from Windsor. 3 in a row, guys. Take us through it.
Well, it was a pretty solid race. I did my best to screw it up for the boys. I dropped it at the top on the last landing. I picked it up and put it back in, but these guys are so solid. They're always able to recover on the back, and I can't say enough about my teammates and Travis. They're outstanding.
How about Windsor Team Tregascas? They pull it off, the three-peat.
Boy, Bob, it was neck and neck all the way to the end. Jack Bailey swoops in there just like a forklift, snatches Rescue Randy, and he was gone.
1:10:60, a challenge record. Congratulations to Vaughn as well. So both challenge trophies go to Canada. The Streamlight Relay has been a great one. For Paul Davis and Rex Nimrod, I'm Bob Ramsey. See you next time. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Log on to ESPN.com. From Las Vegas, it's the Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge World Challenge 13. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Ramsey, alongside my partner, the creator of the challenge, Dr. Paul Davis. Yes, we're back in Las Vegas, but for the first time, a finals at night. That means cool temperatures, dry desert air. How will that affect things?
Well, Bob, this is really an optimal environment for a competition of this type.
Well, what may be optimum for Windsor is a three-peat. That's what they're going for. Can anybody challenge them?
Well, there's probably 3 to 4 teams that have a good shot. I would say Overland Park,
Yeah.
Travis Air Force Base, and Goodfellow Air Force Base.
But Windsor going for that three-peat. Can anybody really beat them?
Bob, it's Las Vegas. You can get odds on anything here.
All right, we'll find out. Now let's go to the finish line. That's where our Rex Nimrod is standing by. What do you have, Rex?
Thanks, Bob. This year I had the honor of standing at what the competitors call their favorite part of the course, the finish line. I can't wait to see what unfolds tonight. Back to you guys.
Now let's check out the course. The first task is the stair climb, where firefighters have to carry a 45-pound high-rise pack up the 5-story tower. It takes about 15 seconds. Next, the hose hoist. A 45-pound roll of hose is pulled to the top of the tower by hand and deposited in the box. The very best competitors do this in about 12 pulls. Then it's back down the stairs, and you head to the Kaiser Slammer, where a 165-pound steel beam must be moved 5 feet using a 9-pound shot hammer. 12 hits, generally, will do the trick for the top guys. Next, you must run through a 140-foot course to a charged attack hose and pull it 75 feet through those swinging doors and knock down a 1-foot target with a stream of water. The fifth and toughest evolution is saved for last. The victim rescue. Here, a 165-pound dummy must be dragged 100 feet to the finish. Time stops when the dummy and you cross the finish line. 90 seconds? Well, if you're good, you can do it in 90. Now we're ready for our first race, the men's over 50 final. On the blue course on your left, defending champion John McGrattan of Fredericton, New Brunswick. In the right course from Colorado Springs, Denny Peffer. And conspicuous by his absence is a guy we've seen a lot, Pat Hartley from Gainesville.
That's right, Bob. In fact, from the beginning of time, Pat's been in this competition. But he competed earlier despite the fact he had 2 broken ribs.
Oh, my.
So we call him now the John Wayne of the Firefighter Combat Challenge.
So we've got a good competition so far. Again, McGrattan, he's the defending champ on the left in the black turnout gear. And on the right, Denny Peffer from Colorado Springs. And they're basically step for step coming off the tower.
And I'll tell you, Bob, this is such a tough division. This crowd of over 50 guys just keep getting better and better.
And a testament to fitness, not just for firefighters, but for anybody who sometimes they get that big 5-0 and they kind of look at that as an excuse to kind of get back in the easy chair. But these guys keep pushing it and keep pushing the envelope, making themselves better and more fit.
Well, and not only that, but by the time you're in your 50s, you've earned your 20-some years, and most of the guys have already punched out. So it's really the tough guys that stay.
Very close race as Peffer has a lead, but not by much. It'll come down to the drag, the dummy drag, and look at this. Step for step. Here they go. Peffer on the right, McGrattan on the blue course on the left. He's the defending champion.
Well, the big deal here is don't fall down.
And when you can't see the guy in front of you, you know you've got to catch up, and that often will lead to maybe pushing it too hard. It looks like Peffer's got the lead, and Peffer's going to win. Let's go to Rex with our champion at the finish line.
Denny Peffer, come on, man. Guys your age aren't supposed to be running this, man. Don't you know any better?
I tell myself that every time I'm on the course, but after it's over, it feels a lot better.
The official numbers are in, and for our men's over 50 championship, it's a new world record. Denny Peffer, 149.67. More action from the Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge when we come back to Las Vegas in a moment. The Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge World Challenge 13 is brought to you by Scott Health and Safety, the world's leader in respiratory protection. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Time for another championship run. This time it's the women's final. On the blue course on the left from Windsor, Jocelyn Jobin. And from Colorado Springs on the red, Stacy Bilipondo and Paul Davis. These are two of the great women's competitors we see year in and year out.
Well, in the early part of the week, Bob, we started with 31 women, and it's down to the final 2.
Well, Jocelyn and Stacy are always in the hunt every single year. They're always there amongst the winners. If they're not in the finals, they're in the semis. They're bad. A little bit of a struggle there for Stacy getting it over the rail.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, Bob, because so often you think that you've got it on that top pull, you whip it over, and then you find, you know what, it didn't come.
If it hangs up, now all of a sudden you're almost like starting from scratch.
Well, obviously we got 2 very well-matched competitors.
That's Jocelyn Jobin from Windsor.
Both back at the POC nozzle at the same time.
Jocelyn has just a little bit of an edge on Stacy, and I think you can attribute that to that hang up at the top of the tower. Still hasn't made up for that time, but boy, they're neck and neck right now. And suddenly Stacy's jumped ahead. Got about 2 steps coming out of the hose block there.
Now look at the grip. I don't know if you can see that, but she's using the crossover chest. In other words, instead of trying to go around under the armpits of Rescue Randy, she reaches across and clearly in the lead.
Stacy Bilipondo got the quick grip and the quick go, and she is 2 steps ahead of Jocelyn.
Oh!
And then she goes down.
Oh!
Stacy had the lead and goes down. Jocelyn Jobin's going to take advantage, and if she does not trip, she doesn't. Across the finish line, the new women's champion, Jocelyn Jobin from Windsor, and she's with Rex Nimrod.
Jocelyn, excellent run. Can you take us through it?
Well, I knew we were side by side. I was trying to go fast in the end, and it was unfortunate, but she went down. I seen it. I just slowed up because I knew I had it, and I didn't want to fall myself.
Jobin with her commanding victory in the final standings, 2:13.15. Anita Horsley from DeKalb Fire and Rescue, Sherry Jackson from Greensboro, and then it's Angie Holman and Jacqueline Rosenberg. Now, on to our next championship race, and in this one, it's the men's over 40 final. Peter Reed from Brampton, Ontario on the blue, and in the red, Kevin Voiles from Idaho.
Peter Reed, best known as Zeus, part of that repeat team of Brampton, Ontario. And now in the over 40 class, Bob.
Very nice out of the tower, Kevin Voiles. These are 2 more stars who have been here year after year. Championship status, and 2 of the best battling each other in the over 40s, Reed and Voiles. There's Peter Reed trying to catch up a couple steps behind.
It's interesting when these guys have been around this long and they start looking forward to getting into the 40 category and they think somehow it's going to be easier. But Kevin's got a little bit of a lead.
Voiles with just a step, but they're virtually even as they go to the Rescue Randy dummy. A little slow, and I think Voiles lost his lead. He did, Peter Reed. A little smoother on the exchange, getting to the dummy. Here we go.
And there's
now
a
the
penalty.
stretch.
Yeah, there's a penalty on Kevin.
And Peter Reed's going to win outright. And with the penalty, Peter Reed will be the new champion of the over 40 men.
Peter, new world record for the over 40s. How's it feel, man?
It's awesome. Long year. Had a tough go with the Canadians, and it feels good. I've never raced Kevin before. That's a real push.
And as we check the men's over 40 final standings, we see, well, up north in Canada, they're living right. The top 4 over 40 are all from Canada: Reed, Hills, Kohler, and Vezot. Now it's time for the Chiefs' final run. We've got Jack Hickey on the blue course from St. John's Regional and Christian Vezot from the Canadian Forces. And he's on the red course, and we've got a good battle, and Vezot has an early lead.
Well, both of these guys are certainly no stranger to the competition.
Christian Vezot from the Canadian Forces. He's the fire marshal. Off the tower first with a nice lead off the tower. Very smooth on the Kaiser. Christian Vezot.
Now, what's interesting is that we have Hickey, who actually qualifies in 2 categories. He's also in our over 45 and a chief. Look at this, Bob. That is a hose changeout, and as he's running, the hose line is charged. That's some of that great Neidner hose. This stuff gets drug about 45 miles before it finally gets a hole in it.
Christian Vezot with the lead. Jack Hickey is going to have to make up some ground, and he's not going to get it done. Christian Vezot from the Canadian Forces is our Chiefs champion.
Christian, excellent run out there. Take us through it.
There was a hard work this year, this season. I did an excellent Canadian Nationals. This year, bettered my time by almost 12 seconds from last year. And it was a good race all the way through. Jack, high-class man, Jack. Altogether, overall, excellent, smooth run. That's why I wanted it all the way through, and it happened today.
Vezot is the chief. Third place, Jack Hickey wins the over 45s. The Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge returns to Las Vegas in a minute. The Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge World Challenge 13 is brought to you by Lion Apparel. For over a century, the leader in protective clothing.
Hey, gang, I'm here with Randy Mantooth, former paramedic on emergency, and this is your first trip to the challenge, Ron? What do you think?
Yes. What do I think? It's a wonder anybody's alive by the time they finish, when they get past this finish line. Holy smokes, these are world-class athletes. I mean, they are truly amazing. I couldn't even do this in my sleep, nor would I even want to try. I look at these guys and I just thank God that if my house burns, I want just two guys show up, just those two right there. That's all.
Thank you, Randy.
As we get set for our first team race, you see Pat Scheibler on the far side, the blue course from Overland Park. Greg Coates from Windsor, Team Tregaskis, on the red course. Paul, you had a chance to talk it over with Randolph Mantooth. That had to be a lot of fun. We've seen the way the media has portrayed the fire service over the years. A little more gritty these days with Dennis Leary and his show on FX, Rescue Me.
Well, you know, Bob, we were paramedics together. He was on television. Of course, I was doing the real thing. But, yeah, it was really nice to talk to him.
And I think anytime the fire service gets positive representation, that's good for everybody.
Oh, of course it is. I think these are clearly some unsung heroes.
Coaches out of the tower first from Windsor. Yeah, they're the team that everybody's gunning for, and they are always so efficient. They always set that standard, but a little slower on the Kaiser. And you see Scheibler come off first.
He did catch up with him, and, of course, Overland Park is in the zone. This is anybody's game as we see it right now.
To the hoses. Quite a race. Here we go. Pat Scheibler, Overland Park, putting the pressure on Windsor early. Boy, neck and neck, though, as they get to the rescue, Randy Dummy.
Well, both these guys capable of turning in times right around 90 seconds.
Virtually step for step. Looks like Coates, maybe a little quicker step. Got an edge now. Here comes Coates from Windsor. Scheibler a step behind. To the finish line, Greg Coates.
Well, look at that time, Bob. Look at it. Look at the time.
From Windsor, crosses the finish line. What a big finish. Greg Coates, Team Tregaskis from Windsor. And we go right into our next race on the blue course. Frank Abreu from Travis Air Force Base and Brett Zeleniak from Edmonton on the red course on your right.
Well, right now, Bob, this is just about anybody's guess as to who's going to turn out on top. I mean, Travis is sitting in the best position right now, guarding first place with Edmonton nipping at their heels, but we still have got about 6 races to go.
Look at that blue pack come flying up the tower. Abreu from Travis Air Force Base. Just huge strokes and threw it over the railing, and he's down out of the tower first. Frank Abreu from Travis on the blue course.
Yeah, about a half a stair lead. We'll see how they do on the Kaisers.
Smooth and efficient.
Yeah, stroke for stroke.
Very nice. Abreu holds on to his lead.
Now, I want to mention something, Bob, and that is this is one of the places that you can pick up the most amount of time is winding your way through the cones, or through the hydrants in this case, but it is very, very tough to do.
Frank Abreu holds on to his lead. The hose through the doors. Boys, Zeleniak right behind him from Edmonton.
Now here we go, 175 pounds of dead weight.
Frank Abreu, but boy, Zeleniak, quick grip and quick to his feet. Nearly even.
You know, the whole thing is going through your head. Obviously, you want to turn in your best time, but you also got to remember that you're going to put these team times together, and he's over.
And Abreu with a nice run, start to finish. He had the lead, hangs on. Very nicely done, Frank Abreu from Travis Air Force Base. And as you take a look at the standings, you'll see Edmonton on top, Windsor 4 seconds back, and right behind them, Sacramento Local 522. Back to the beauty of the desert and the hot action of the Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge when we return in a moment. The Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge World Challenge 13 is brought to you by Original SWAT, tactical footwear in sports shoe comfort. As Paul mentioned in our open, Travis Air Force Base is one of the contenders that hope to upset the Yankees of the challenge, Windsor Team Tregaskis. And while Travis may not be saddled with a curse, just beating Windsor is a constant motivator.
That seems to be our plight, if you will. Every year we have 2002 we head-to-head with Windsor, and we just missed it by 1.7 seconds. And 2003 was kind of rebuilding for us, and 2004 back to it, and here it is, Overland Park and Windsor again. So.
And Mike Melton's going to get his chance right here. Sergeant Melton from Travis Air Force Base on the blue course against Darren Hillman from Windsor Team Tregaskis. You know these teams and individuals have to meet up, Paul.
Well, not only that they know each other intimately. They know what the guys' moves are, what their times are. Watch this guy. Watch Mike.
On the blue.
This guy works like a set of Venetian blinds. He was slightly behind. Well, up now.
Little bit of a mistake at the top.
And I'm telling you, Bob, at this level of competition, it's the little tiny things that add up.
Guys are winning or losing by tenths of seconds, by half seconds, and that's what'll happen as Hillman comes off first.
And I don't think there's anybody faster down those stairs than Darren Hillman. You saw him just absolutely fly down the stairs. And this is kind of interesting because you remember he referenced this face-off back in Deerfield Beach 2 years ago. Mike was head-and-head with Jack Bailey, and Jack Bailey fell down. Mike coasted in to save the win, and in the process of doing so, gave it over to Windsor. So
they're individuals, but their times count for the team, and that's what this is all about. As you see, Melton has gotten a little lead now. He caught up through the fire hydrants, and now Mike Melton has a lead from Travis Air Force Base. Can they shake the curse of Windsor?
Got to be under 90, Bob.
Here comes Melton. Yeah, if you're not under 90, you're not in the competition.
Unbelievable, 90 seconds.
Mike Melton, look at him roll. If he keeps his feet, and Melton and Travis Air Force Base, 126.39, a tremendous race by Mike Melton from Travis Air Force Base. Now our next heat features Bob Murray from Edmonton on the blue course, Eric Aker from Sam Squad, he's on the red.
Right, and that's the soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors. It's an all-DoD team. These are the instructors at the Department of Defense Fire Academy at Goodfellow Air Force Base. Now look at Eric go. Wow. Look at this. Now Eric's only been in this game look at that.
Wow.
2 years, and you notice that it didn't even touch the railing. He
flipped
flew
all the
right
way over. And
yeah.
You know what? I get that big wingspan, and he was using all of it to pull it up there. Eric Aker.
Yeah, and
not a nice lead coming out.
Out of the tower, he is on a PR pace right now. Eric, one of the Marines on the SAM Squad team. He's a gunnery sergeant. No mistakes. Just a flawless run.
Well, Melton's 126 is the best we've had. Look at this. Look how smooth.
Funny thing is that, Eric's nickname is Freak. And I had to do a little research. Where in the heck did he get this name Freak? And they said, you got to see him on the dance floor.
Well, I don't know how he could be as smooth as he is right here, because this is remarkable. What a run. Eric Aker from Sam Squad. You don't even see Bob Murray to the dummy yet.
No, I mean, he could be the king of the jungle. This is the
look at this.
The top performer here, all by himself. And you know what the problem here right now is? You got to stay on that pace because
don't let up.
That's right.
Look at the clock. 121 and ticking across the finish line. Eric Aker. What a job. A personal best. 123.92, an amazing run by Aker. And now, our final match race of World Challenge 13, Paul. Two of the all-time great competitors on the blue course, Jack Bailey, Windsor Team Tregaskis, and truly one of the greats, Bob Russell from Overland Park on the red.
Well, Bob Russell, of course, holds the world record right at 119. No one's really gotten near that in the last couple of years. But
and Bailey's up first.
He's up first. That's a little unusual for Bob. But watch these guys.
Look, my.
Man, no lie. Now look at that. Clear that deck. No, not a problem. Now this, the thing is, everything comes down to this race. The outcome of this race is going to have an impact all the way down, probably through fourth place.
Not only for the individuals, but especially for the teams. All these teams count, all the times count for their teams as they blast to the fire hydrants now.
Top three times of what's going to count. No doubt these guys are going to go sub 90. That's not even a question.
It's not a question. There you see Bob Russell, Jack Bailey on the blue course. Look at them, neck and neck.
I mean, and these guys are incredibly consistent. I mean,
wow.
all of our
mirror image.
All of our top performers. Basically, Bob, within seconds of each other, no matter. Whoa!
Oh, and Russell goes down!
Oh, this is
Bob
huge.
Russell, it looked like he had just gotten half a step on Jack Bailey, and he is down. He's not getting up. Jack Bailey from Windsor Team Tregaskis. Russell still down. I hope he's not hurt. And Jack Bailey's going to cruise into victory. He goes down across the finish line at 124.84. Eric Aker is our men's champion, won 23-92, and Rex had a chance to visit with the new King of the Jungle.
I felt like I had real good transitions, and my transition at the top felt real good, and the only place that I was really worried about was putting the donut roll in the bucket, and once that come down's always been kind of an Achilles heel for me, and I felt like I came down without any trouble, and the rest of it, we always say it's just hard from there and just push as hard as you can as long as you can, and today was my day.
We know Travis and Windsor have the heart. They have the talent. But who will have the best time in our Titus team competition in history? And the officials are ready with the results.
We did the math, and we back there, we did all the figuring, and by 1/3 of a second, ladies and gentlemen, the 2004 Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge World Champion Team, Travis Air Force Base. I'm joined at the finish line by the 2004 Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge World Champions, Travis Air Force Base. Tell us how it goes, man.
Man, that was about as gut-wrenching as you can get. I mean, 2002, we lost by 1.7 seconds to Windsor. And to sit here, to wait 2 years for another chance, that was the hardest 2 years we have ever had to go through as a team. And
This has got to feel good, guys.
I can't even describe it. It's better than I thought it would be.
Well, it feels even better than they thought it would, and the time is maybe better than anyone thought as well. Travis Air Force Base, the champs, 4:25.83. Windsor right behind them at 4:26.19. Then it's Edmonton, Sam Squad, and Sacramento and Paul. What an achievement to stop Windsor's three-peat attempt.
Well, you know, Bob, the last time that was done was the guys from Casper, Wyoming.
And it's been a long time, and I guess it'll be a long time again. And now, going for a championship run next year will be Travis Air Force Base. They're now the top dogs. For Paul Davis and Rex Nimrod, I'm Bob Ramsey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Scott Firefighter Combat Challenge. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Log on to ESPN.com.